Exercise 19, part 1. The cubic function f of x equals 4x cubed plus 10x squared minus 7x minus 3 has got one integer root and two irrational roots. We have to find all three roots. The integer root must be a factor of minus 3. The factors of minus 3 are the numbers that divide into minus 3. The positive or negative whole numbers. So we've got plus or minus 1 or plus or minus 3. So the integer root has to be one of these four numbers. The way we determine which of the four numbers it is, we use trial and error. We test and see if we plug in when x is plus 1, if the equation equates to 0. If it does equate to 0, that means that x equals 1 is a root. If it doesn't equate to 0, then it's not a root. And then we move on and test all four numbers. Or until we do get the equation equates to 0. So first of all, when x is 1, if we put in 1 for x everywhere, you get 4 times 1 cubed plus 10 times 1 squared minus 7 by 1 minus 3. 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 is 1, by 4 gives 4. 1 squared is 1, by 10 is 10. Minus 7 by a plus 1 is a minus 7. And then we still have this minus 3 at the end. 4 plus 10 is 14. Take away 7, take away 3 gives 4. That's not 0. So x equals 1 is not a root. Next of all, we're going to test with x equals minus 1. So everywhere we had an x, we're going to replace each of the x's with a minus 1. So we 4 times minus 1 to be cubed, plus 10 times minus 1 to be squared, minus 7 by a minus 1 and a minus 3. Minus 1 cubed means minus 1 by minus 1 by minus 1. And that's a minus 1. When you multiply that by 4, that gives a minus 4. Minus 1 squared is minus 1 by minus 1, and that's a plus 1. Plus 1 by 10 is plus 10. Minus 7 by minus 1 is a plus 7. And we still have the minus 3 at the end. 10 and 7 is 17. Take away 4 is 13. Take away 3 is 10. It's not 0. X equals minus 1 is not a root. Next of all, we're going to try x equals a plus 3. 3 cubed is 3 by 3 by 3. That's 27. 27 by 4 is 108. 3 squared, that's 3 by 3 is 9. 9 by 10 is 90. Minus 7 by a plus 3 is minus 21. And we still have the minus 3 at the end. 108 plus 90 is 198. And when you take away 21 and take away 3, you're taking away 24 from that. And that works out as 174. Okay? And that's not 0. So the last one is x equals minus 3. Okay, so this one must equate to 0. So when we put in x is minus 3, minus 3 by minus 3 by minus 3, that gives minus 27. And when you multiply that by 4, that gives minus 108. Minus 3 squared is a plus 9. Plus 9 by plus 10 gives a plus 90. Minus 7 by a minus 3 is plus 21. So plus 21. And then we have the minus 3 at the end. Now when we add the two plus numbers, 90 and 21 add to 111. The two minus numbers, we've got minus 108, minus 3, and they add to minus 111. Plus 111 minus 111 does equate to 0. So that means x equals minus 3 is a root. And if x minus 3 is a root, this means that x plus 3 is a factor. Now, if it's a factor, that means we can divide the original cubic expression by this linear expression, and we're going to get a quadratic. So when you divide a cubic by a linear, this will give a quadratic. So we're going to use long division. So we're going to divide 4x cubed plus 10x squared minus 7x minus 3 by x plus 3 using long division. So we've got 4x cubed plus 10x squared minus 7x minus 3 divided by x plus 3. What do you multiply x by to make it equal to 4x cubed? 4x squared. So we have to put a 4x squared on top. And then we have to do that multiplication. What is x by 4x squared? X by 4x squared gives 4x cubed. Plus 3 by 4x squared gives plus 12x squared. The rule for long division then is to change the signs. So this gives a minus 4x cubed and a minus 12x squared. What happens now is that the x cubed terms cancel. The plus 4x cubed minus 4x cubed cancels. With the x squared, we've got plus 10x squared minus 12x squared, and that gives minus 2x squared. Next of all, we're going to bring down the next term, which is the minus 7x. All the steps we've done so far, we're going to repeat them steps again. So here we've got a minus 2x squared. You need to multiply x by minus 2x to give a minus 2x squared. So we're going to put a minus 2x on top. And then we're going to do that multiplication. X by minus 2x does give minus 2x squared. Plus 3 by minus 2x gives minus 6x. And the rule for long division is to change the signs. The minus 2x squared and the minus 6x will change to a plus 2x squared and a plus 6x. And then what happens, the x squareds cancel out. The minus 2x squared and the plus 2x squared then will just cross off. Then we've got a minus 7x and a plus 6x. Minus 7x plus 6x is a minus 1x. Next of all, we're going to bring down the next term, which is the minus 3. So we have to repeat them steps one last time. We need to multiply x by a minus 1 to make it exactly equal to minus 1x. So we're going to put a minus 1 on top. And then if we do that multiplication, x by minus 1 does equal minus 1x. Plus 3 by minus 1 is minus 3. The rule for long division again is to change the signs. So you get a minus 1x and a plus 3 in the bottom. The x's cancel and the plus or minus 3 cancel. So the remainder is 0. The remainder will always be 0. That's because x plus 3 was a factor. So this means the original cubic, which was 4x cubed plus 10x squared minus 7x minus 3, this can be written as a linear times a quadratic. So this was the original cubic, 4x cubed plus 10x squared minus 7x minus 3. And this can be written as a linear, which is x plus 3, times the quadratic, which is 4x squared minus 2x minus 1. Now we already know the root from the linear part was x equals minus 3. Okay, so we already have that integer root. What we now need to do is to solve this quadratic equation to find the other two irrational roots. So we've got 4x squared minus 2x minus 1. We're going to solve this quadratic equation. A is the number in front of the x squared, which is 4. B is the number in front of the x, which is minus 2. And C is the constant term on its own, which is minus 1. And we're going to substitute these values into the quadratic formula. X equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, if b equals minus 2, that means minus b will change to a plus 2. So x is going to be plus 2 plus or minus the square root of minus 2 to be squared minus 4 by a minus 1 all over 2 by 4. So we're going to work out what's inside the square root. Now, minus 2 to be squared is a plus 4. Minus 4 by 4 is minus 16. By a minus 1 is a plus 16. So inside the square root, we've got 4 plus 16, which is 20. On the bottom, 2 by 4 gives 8. So x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 20 all over 8. Now, the square root of 20 can be written as the square root of 4 by the square root of 5. The square root of 4 is 2, so x could be 2 plus or minus 2 root 5 over 8. Now, we can divide all of these numbers by 2. 2 goes into 2 to give 1. 2 root 5 divided by 2 is 1 root 5, or just root 5. And 8 divided by 2 gives 4. So x could be 1 plus or minus root 5 all over 4. So this means that the three roots of the original cubic equation are x equals minus 3 or x equals 1 plus or minus root 5 all over 4.